Welcome to today's lesson. Did you know that Britain has over 100 different ways to describe the word drunk in English? Of course, getting drunk is not something to be proud of, but expressing that you or someone else had a bit too much to drink doesn't have to sound like you've done the worst thing in the world, does it? The British do love their alcohol and are famous for it around the world. Going down to the pub, known as a bar in other countries, to have a few pints, meaning beers, is part of British culture and a way of socializing after a hard day's work or relaxing and letting your hair down over the weekend. While other countries may have one day to celebrate their country's abiding love for alcohol, the British have three: yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Therefore, it's not surprising to know that the people of the UK have various amusing ways to express being drunk in English. So why should you always just use the word drunk when the English have come up with so many fascinating ways to say the same? I'm Nysha, your English coach, and you're watching me on your favorite channel to learn English. Let's talk. Today, I'm going to share with you 13 rather unique and funny words and phrases you can learn which the Brits use to describe their interest in getting drunk and actually being very, very drunk. So come on guys, let's get started. The first one is a British phrase used to set the mood for a night out of drinking. And the phrase is on the lash. On the lash. An expression used to state that someone wants to go out on a drinking spree and drink heavily on a night out. So in Britain, if friends are planning to go out on a drinking spree, they could say to you, if they want to ask you to join them, this is what they could say to you. Hey, we're planning to go out on the lash tonight. Do you want to join us? So that's the phrase to use, on the lash. Now, if you're on the lash, as you start having a drink and then another, while socializing with friends and having a good time, at this point, you'd probably start to experience the next word, which is tipsy. Tipsy, which means to be slightly drunk. For those who drink and enjoy drinking, feeling tipsy is the start of a very happy high. On the other hand, perhaps you're someone who has never had any alcohol before. So imagine then if someone you know says to you, I can't believe in this day and age there are people like you who don't drink. Like seriously, you've never had any alcohol before? And you say, no, I haven't. So they say, right, today you're going to have some beers with me, my friend. And you try to politely get out of the situation, but your friend is adamant that you have to keep him or her company and you have to try drinking. So you very reluctantly agree, okay, come on, let's try it. And after 2 beers, you start giggling and smiling more than usual, your head starts spinning, and you start to feel a little lightheaded. And guess what? What you're experiencing is being tipsy. I'm feeling a bit tipsy after those beers, meaning slightly drunk. Same for those who don't drink very often, and suddenly if you drink alcohol after a really, really long time, the alcohol can really make you feel tipsy. So in such situations, how would you use the term tipsy in a sentence? You could say, I drank a glass of wine after a really long time. I think it's been 6 months. And it really suddenly hit me, making me feel quite tipsy. The next expression is related to a shopping trolley. Yes, you heard me correctly. I did say a trolley. When we hear the word trolley, we think of a supermarket trolley which we push up and down aisles to put our groceries into, right? But how is the word trolley in any way connected to being drunk? See, the Brits are extremely innovative and have come up with the expression off your trolley to mean that someone is drunk, even though it has nothing to do with trolleys at all. It's a figurative way of saying the person is so drunk they are behaving strange and doing things they wouldn't otherwise do if they were sober. Do you remember anything you did last night? You were completely off your trolley, mate. That's a fun expression you can use next time you're talking about someone being absolutely drunk. Moving on to the next expression. pissed. In America, the word pissed means to be angry or annoyed at someone. But in Britain, the word pissed is a very common way to express being drunk. We were out on the lash last night and I got completely pissed out of my head. They went to the pub and got completely pissed and got back home at 3 a.m. Next, we have a rather posh word used mainly by the sophisticated upper class to mean drunk. The word is inebriated. Inebriated. You'd never think this word means to be drunk, did you? It's almost too nice to mean that. But the joke is in the difference between how ridiculous people can look and sound when they have had too much alcohol and using very formal language that doesn't fit this behavior. So if you want to use an impressive word to impress someone, to say drunk, go ahead and use the word inebriated. By the end of the night, we were all in a pretty inebriated state. Now coming back to some less posh, purely informal British slang terms for being drunk. We have the next expression, out of it. To be out of it means that not only are you drunk, but you're also finding it hard to concentrate or focus, and you are really unaware of what is happening around you. Let's have a look at an example sentence. You know, I don't remember much about last night's party, nor what time I got home. I was totally out of it. Moving on to a rather interesting phrase used by the British, which brings me to the next expression, to have your beer goggles on. To have your beer goggles on. This expression, to have your beer goggles on, refers to a person who can't seem to see clearly and truthfully the reality because they're so intoxicated by alcohol. Often used when you find something or someone rather attractive when that isn't the case in reality. Look at an example sentence. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting outside a bar with a rather pissed friend and she says, "Look, that's my hot ex sitting there. Sam, I'm just going to go run and hug him." And you look across and, sorry, but he's a shabby looking guy and he looks nothing like your friend's ex, Sam. So you'd say, "Sorry, just ignore her, please." And you'd say to your inebriated friend, "Darling, you've got your beer goggles on." Or you could say to her, "That's your beer goggles talking. Come on, let's get you home." Such fun ways to replace the word being drunk, isn't it? Next, we have the word legless. This term hints at the fact that people often find it hard to walk or use their legs when they have had too much to drink. Of course, in that state, your legs would be all wobbly and you'd find it pretty difficult to walk straight, wouldn't you? So how would you use this word in a sentence? Let's have a look. I was completely legless last night. My cousin had to accompany me home. I drank so much, couldn't get home, so my cousin accompanied me home. I was totally legless. To follow, we have another British slang word to mean very drunk, and the word is sozzled. 2 glasses of wine is my limit. Any more and I get sozzled. Any more and I get drunk. But you don't want to say drunk, do you? So you say any more than 2 glasses and I get sozzled. So I'm not going to have any more. And lastly, I'm going to team up the last 4 words, which are chiefly British slang words, which all mean the very same thing, to be extremely and utterly drunk. You can use any of these words to mean just that, very, very drunk. Here we go. Bladdered. He was so bladdered and aggressive, the police had to keep him locked up until he sobered up. Smashed. The group of teenagers were loud and completely smashed out of their heads, so the restaurant manager immediately asked them to leave the restaurant. Plastered. I was so plastered yesterday, yet I vaguely remember dancing my heart out to my favorite song. Did I do that? Or was I actually plastered? And lastly, the final word on the list, which can be usually used to express getting drunk or beyond drunk because of a bad day or week, and you feel you just need to have a drink or a couple of drinks to ease your mood and relieve you from all the stress that's going on in your life. The word is wasted. And how could you use this word? You could say, man, my boss screamed at me today in front of everyone. I failed my driving test and on my way home, can you believe it, someone stole my wallet. Can today get any worse? I'm going to get totally wasted tonight. Are you joining me? I want to get wasted. Just drink my sorrows away. You get the gist, right? So there you have it, guys. You've just learned 13 amusing ways the Brits use to say drunk in English. Try using any of these phrases or words the next time you want to say drunk, and make speaking English a lot more fun. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. If you did, write to me in the comment section below and let me know which were your favorite phrases or words from today's lesson. And come on, try to use them in a sentence. Life doesn't have to be serious all the time, and nor does your English. It's important that learning should also be fun. So keep practicing your English, guys, because as they say, practice makes perfect.